What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video. Now this is going to be a discussion based video, and yes, this will have a paid promotion. Your boy got a sponsor, and during this COVID pandemic, I got to take care of my family. So with all that said and done, this video is all about how year 3 will have PvP in it. They will address PvP in year 3. Alright? They will. It's a fact, Jack. I've already had the creative director like my stuff. He's already understood where my thought process is. I've already got current developers from Massive saying that there are great ideas that I have brought forward. And I swear that with the way things are going, it will work in year 3. We will get PvP in year 3. So if you want to hear me explain exactly how this is going to work in all the different ways, sit back and relax. But I'm sorry to say it, I'm going to have to add my paid promotion. So sit back, relax, and help feed my family. I'll be back in about 45 seconds. Thank you. Peace. Alright, you guys, today's video is brought to you by dving.net. So dving.net can help boost any account for any of these game titles up to 100%. Any game, gear, raid, activity, you name it, they cover it. If you have any questions at all, you can go to the bottom right corner and talk to the support chat. But besides that, you can click any of these, go to checkout, and type in the code Kamikaze. You put in the coupon Kamikaze and you will get 15% off. So I hope you guys enjoy it. That is dving.net, and you get 15% off all services just by typing in Kamikaze. Now, back to the video. Alright, welcome back you guys. Sorry about that paid promotion, but again, I need to feed my family. So, shout out to the DoD Disciples of Doom. Now let's get into this discussion. So, as we all know, there's been about 50 million YouTubers covering this, and not one of them can reference the Twitter action that's going on that involves me. And I've actually had quite a few of these content creators already on my podcast, and I've explained exactly what's going on with PvP Red Storm and the Division 2. I'm not going to be talking about the Division 3 because we still have an entire year of Division 2 to get through. Obviously, Division 3 will happen, and I have no doubt about that at all. I have an entirely different skepticism about Division 3. And I'll hold that for a different video because everyone's saying, like, it's so easy to jump on the bandwagon with these content creators. Like, yeah, they did do a questionnaire and survey about the mobile style of things, but people are too quick to jump on that bandwagon saying it's coming to this game. It's not. What they are doing is they are testing certain systems with the mobile part of the gaming industry, and whenever it does stick or not stick, the developers are going to use that information to incorporate that into a future project. They are not going to throw the Division 2 on your phone. I promise you. There's not enough people that play this as it is compared to newer games like Assassin's Creed, up and coming Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, and things like that. Those games are either out right now or about to come out, and that will definitely throw the Division 2 in a deeper, darker shadow underneath all these other big titles. So, back to year 3. We are talking about year 3 in particular because, in my opinion, year 2 has completed PvE for the Division 2 as a whole. There will not be more stuff on PvE side. Now I know there's a lot of you that think, hey, You know, there's supposed to be 3 or 4 raids. And yeah, you might be right. But if you remember in Division 1, there was supposed to be 12 Dark Zone areas. And they only had 9. They also said that they were going to release something within Central Park in Division 1. And that didn't come to fruition either. So remember that, yes, they might advertise on their websites, or they might advertise, you know, on roadmaps that, hey, this is scheduled to happen. But you have to take that with a grain of salt, because a lot of things happen beforehand, and it really does jeopardize all that future content. Reason being, Division 1, again, clear example. During all of the bugs and all of the patches through the first 2 years of the division, there were a lot of things wrong, to where the developers had to focus on patches. They had to focus on balancing, and if you remember in Division 1, they completely changed the entire armor system in Year 2. They changed it from stamina to toughness, or toughness to stamina. I forget which. You know, whatever. But you understand that they switched it from one to the other, completely redoing the system. And they can do that in Year 3 as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you guys about different ways that Year 3 PvP is most definitely on the table. So back to Year 2. This year, we have gotten Warlords of New York. We have gotten the second raid. And we have also gotten the Summit. Yes, there's you know, seasons here and there, but for the most part those are copy and paste, and they were probably developed well over a year ago. Now, as far as Year 2 as a whole, looking at the state of the game right this second, you can see that they are doing final touches to the Summit. They're trying to polish it up. They are adding the optimization station. You already have targeted loot where you can choose whatever targeted loot you want, and they are incorporating accommodations that involve the Summit in such a way that you will have to play the Summit for a very long time. Clear example, one of the accommodations coming up tells you that you have to open up one of those access chests that you can only get every 3 floors. You have to open 300 of them. That's quite a bit. Not only that, but I believe there was another one where you have to be in the Summit for like 100 hours or 300 hours, something stupid like that. So this just adds to my thought process that PvE is done. They might, and I really, really stress the word might, they might incorporate more stuff into Kinley College if this nightmare little event in December actually like blows up. I could see them doing little PvE things within Kinley College to kind of keep things fresh. But as far as that, if you look at this map, everything for the most part is PvE. You've got the Pentagon, you've got the raids, you've got the strongholds, you've got New York, Camp White Oak, Coney Island, Manning National Zoo, Kinley College, the Summit. All of these are PvE oriented. They are all focused on PvE. So some might say, if you're a PvE only player, the Division 2 right now is the hotness. You can go over to the Summit and literally choose whatever targeted loot you want. And come December, you can max every gear piece and weapon to its max potential. This is completely taking grinding and build making out of the loop. RNG doesn't even matter anymore. They are completely finalizing PvE as a whole in the Division 2. As of, you know, what is this? The end of Year 2. As of the year of end 2, as of the end of Year 2, the PvE will be done. Story-wise, there will be a flip, or there will be a, what do they call it, a cliffhanger at the end of Season 4, obviously with Fei Lao. You will either get a radio transmission at the end. Maybe you kill her and then her radio's going off and you have to figure out who that is. Maybe she gets away. Maybe she just dies and then you find out that she was just a puppet under another person. Anyway, there will be some sort of cliffhanger to keep us there because the Division 3 will happen. This isn't a matter of maybe or speculation. The Division 3 is happening. The only question now remains, what are they going to do to the Division 2 to build up that hype to the Division 3? Now, a lot of you, man, so many of you, and your moms, everyone and their effing mom thinks that PvP is dead, and everyone and their effing mom thinks that the Division 2 just can't get out of this hole that it's been. And for what I say to all of you, you guys are ignorant and you guys don't know anything about the Division franchise. Because the Division franchise has a really long history of doing the same crap. And this is the same thing. And it really makes me chuckle seeing some of you say, oh, it's dead. Year 3 is going to be nothing. This game is trash. Oh, how do you do that? Oh, my gosh. And all of you, man, like, really, you guys maybe just don't know anything about the Division franchise. Because the Division 1 had so many bugs, it was ridiculous. There were several times during the Division's lifespan where people hated it. They were yelling at the developers. Like a clear example, if one of you just ask Hamish Bode why he doesn't have DMs activated anymore on Twitter. Ask Terry Spire from Redstorm why his DMs are not activated anymore. Because I'll tell you right now, during the Division 1, you could DM both of them all the time. And the problem is that there was so much controversy around the Division that the community started attacking the developers, kind of like what they're doing now. They just attack the developers, and then the developers are like, look, all right, see you later. They don't want to hear your crap. Now, as far as the Division, at the end of year 2, right before they announced the Division 2, they gave us the optimization station. Not only that, but they gave us Resistance, the optimization station, and Rogue 2.0. Now, Rogue 2.0 got us ready for PvP for the Division 2, which a lot of you guys know is in a pretty sad state right now, and I'll explain exactly how to fix that. But as far as the Division goes, they are doing the exact same thing in this game that they did in the last game. What they do is they focus on PvE, get everybody happy about PvE, just like they did in the Division 1. They gave us cooler incursions. They gave us Resistance. They gave us optimization station. They gave us 6-piece classified gear sets. All of this was to make you grind PvE and play their game. Obviously, that makes them money. Now, what you, I'm just saying you as in like the general populace, you that think PvP is dead, it's because right now, of course, it's dead. Of course it is. Are you telling me that on one hand, you've got PvP people yelling at you, but at the other hand, people are putting money in that hand because they're PvE players? You know how much money they've made off of this? Just look at the earnings they probably make off of each season just for that season pass. How many of you have bought the reward track for the seasons? That's money. And how many hundreds of thousands of people have bought the exact same season reward track? A lot. So you're telling me that you guys think PvP's dead, even though the Division 2 is actually striving right now. Like they're actually building up right now. The hype is going. Right now we're on a roller coaster and we're going straight up. And by the time we hit down, that's when the game's going to be good to go. So right now they're building up. They've got PvP going exactly how they like it. They've got the optimization going exactly how they like it. And then what's next? You hit that peak at the top, and then it's PvP, baby, all the way down. Are you kidding me? How can you guys not think that they are going to add this into year 3? How? If you compare this to the Division 1, the Division 1 clearly had PvP down pat. There were a few hiccups between 1.5 and 1.8. Yes, there were actually some pretty bad metas there too. There were sticky bomb metas, seeker mine metas, one-hit shotgun metas, but they still kept going. And then by the time year 3 hit, they finished it off. They polished PvP to exactly where it is now. You can still go into Division 1 right now and play PvP, and it's still fun. So with this logic, the only difference between Division 1 and Division 2 is that Division 2 PvP is not up to par by the end of year 2, which is fine. The difference is huge. The Division 1 had way more PvP in it because in the middle of the effing map, you had the biggest dark zone ever. It was hard to miss. Everyone loved the dark zone, and if you didn't, you were a PvE player and you were happy as well. You had incursions, you had legendaries, you had resistance, you had survival, you had underground. Like the list goes on. Now going back to Division 2. So yes, there are some similarities that don't match up, like the PvP being pretty subpar right now in Division 2. And I can tell you exactly how they're going to do it. So for year 3, the number one thing is they have to change the Lady Death. Lady Death right now is the meta of metas. I can run around with this build right here with 1.7 million armor and still take out anybody in front of me because of this Lady Death. So number 1 on the list, they're going to have to redo the Lady Death talent. I'm sorry for all you Lady Death fans. I'm a Lady Death fan too, but they're going to have to rework this talent. The next thing they are going to have to do is they are going to have to incorporate one more exotic, just one, but that exotic has to give us the same sort of talent that the Ninja Bike Messenger backpack did in Division 1. Now, yes, I can already hear the comments echoing, Kamikaze, Memento backpack, Kamikaze, that's what it is. No, the Memento backpack helps. It does help with build diversity. I can have an all red build, throw the Memento on with Technician, and all of a sudden I've got a meat shield that will not go away, and I could still melt anything in front of me yet again. Like, that does help with certain builds, certain type of hybrids, yes, but that is not good enough. What they need to do is they need to come out with another exotic, or maybe, no, it would have to be an exotic. They would have to come out with another exotic to where it makes any brand set bonus and gear set bonus +1. That will incredibly make build diversity the biggest thing since Division 1. If you can do that, you will have so much build diversity, so many hybrids. It would be insane. Just let's just look at a few. So for, I don't know, so say you want True Patriot, right? And you want that magazine size because you're sick of the Lady Death having 30 rounds. You could run 2 True Patriot with this, new exotic. And then all of a sudden you could have ammo capacity and mag size. If you did that with, say, 1 Negotiator's Dilemma, you could already get that 15% crit chance. If you had 2 Negotiator's Dilemma, you could have a crit build right there just by running 2 Negotiator's Dilemma. So, like, just those 2. Right here, Hunter's Fury. So you could run 2 True Patriot, 2 Negotiator's Dilemma, 1 Hunter's Fury, and 1, whatever this new exotic is. And then all of a sudden you've got a crit build right there. And that's just right here, just off of my chess pieces, me trying to explain this. It would immensely make build diversity not even questionable. That would help all builds across the map. And not only that, but if, and I am saying if here, if they were to rework exotics back to the way the Division 1 was, where you could use multiple exotics, you could run that with the Memento. And then all of a sudden you've got all these extra bonuses and extra core attributes. It'd be pretty much no-brainer. So right off the bat, you'd have to change the Lady Death talent, and you would need to incorporate some sort of exotic with a talent that would increase your brand set bonuses or gear set bonuses by 1 if you have it equipped. This right here would change the meta for PvP, and this would also increase build diversity for PvP and PvE as well, because that exotic would definitely work for PvE as well. Now the next part, I was explaining stamina to toughness and how they changed that during the Division 1. They completely rebranded blues, toughness, armor, health, all that in the Division 1. They can do that again in Division 2 very easily. They've already changed the gear twice. They've already gotten rid of a handful of talents. They've removed talents from all gear items except for chest pieces and backpacks. Why can't they just switch a couple coding for armor? Very easy. In fact, you could probably just bump health up to the armor, because there's some sort of time to kill issue that we have in the Division 2. I know you guys know about it. I know about it too. They are constantly trying to tweak it at Massive, but as we all know, since Red Storm left the Division 2, or quote unquote left the Division 2, it's been under Massive. And every time Massive talks about PvP, they look at Bruce. Bruce is one of their developers right now on the Division 2, and he seems to be the only one that does little reworks here and there for PvP. For example, he's the one that changed the Lady Death. So if I switch this over to PvP, you can see that the Breathe Free talent only goes to 60% amplified damage, which is something that Bruce did. If you go back to PvE, it's still 75. These are really easy fixes and easy tweaks that Massive has made, and they've also done that to the time to kill. They've been working with the shotguns and snipers, and they just can't get it together. And with Title Update 11, they incorporated so much armor on kill, armor regen, armor-based brand set and gear set bonuses that help you armor-wise, but it still doesn't matter because of weapons like the Lady Death and because of the time to kill that is currently in the Division 2. You cannot do these little tweaks and expect it to just fix the game overall. You need to look at it from the outside in and realize what's going on here. What exactly is the problem? The problem is the time to kill, and the problem is amplified damage. Year 2 in Warlords of New York was a clear example where they just went balls to the wall with amplified damage. Yes, multiplicative attributes have been in the game since it released, obviously with the Fox's Prayer knee pads and the Contractor's gloves and other gear. But what I'm saying is Year 2 really focused on amplified damage. They gave us the Lady Death with amplified damage. They gave us Adrenaline Rush, which procs Intimidate with more amplified damage. And then they gave us Hunter's Fury, which, yes, gives us more amplified damage. So you're working on all this, and you're basically breaking the PvP system. Time to kill with amplified damage and the way armor is really insane. It's not the right way to go at all. Now, we'll try to wrap this up while talking about Red Storm. So Red Storm has not been active with the Division 2 since last April, like a year ago. And with that, obviously Terry and Red Storm, they publicly said, you know, hey, we're not working on the Division 2, we're working on other things. If you have any questions about PvP, hit up Massive. And around that same time, I remember Frederick Thylander, right before Terry released that. Frederick Thylander, who was one of the creative developer leads in the Division 2, who I guess isn't working on it now, he said on Twitter that PvP was not a massive thing, that they didn't do that. They got other companies within the Ubisoft umbrella to help them with PvP. And obviously he was talking about Red Storm. And then within a week, Red Storm was like, look, we're not doing it anymore. Go talk to Massive. And then Massive was like, ah, crap, here we go. And since then, there's been nothing added to PvP. Not a damn thing. And in fact, they've actually done worse than Red Storm left it. Red Storm left TU6. TU6 took away normalization from the ODZ and conflict. And it changed the ODZ to invaded. And then they got rid of, the Thieves' Den. They added Manhunt 2.0, which gave you a Manhunt leaderboard, gave you Manhunt ranks, all that jazz. And yeah, they gave us Team Elimination. Now, Team Elimination is a bag of garbage. Poo-poo garbage. Doo-doo garbage. And it's just not good at all. In fact, I myself personally, yes, I will admit, I'm level 100 on all my characters in Conflict. I play PvP a lot. And here recently, I've been talking to Johan and reaching out to Terry Spire about Conflict because Massive, when they incorporated the watch level in year 2, they completely forgot about Conflict and the Dark Zone, actually. They forgot about PvP completely. And it wasn't until the PvP community came together and was like, yo, we're in the Dark Zone and you're not giving us watch levels? What the hell? And Massive finally was like, look, we hear what you're saying. For now on, DZ and Conflict will add to your watch levels. However, what these developers forgot to think about is the XP you gain from DZ compared to the XP you gained from Conflict is completely different. I could play one landmark. Let's just see. Hold on. So if I go to a Dark Zone, correct? Let's just fast travel there and I can explain it. So in the Dark Zone, you have landmarks. Each landmark is a different difficulty. Depending on the difficulty is how much XP you get for clearing each landmark. A lot of PvE players, if they want PvP exclusive items, they'll go into the Dark Zone and they will farm landmarks. And what this does is it gives you a crap ton of XP. Now let me just show you right quick. So I'm in DZ East. If I look at a landmark right here, so this hard landmark is 146,700 XP. This challenging landmark up here, 220,000 XP to clear one landmark. Okay, so just remember that, a little bit over 200k. If I look at my top right of the screen, it shows that I am 483,000 out of 700,000 to level up my watch level. So doing the math there, it will only take maybe 2 or 3 landmarks tops to gain a full level in the on your watch. Now if you look at Conflict, going over to Conflict, you only get maybe, and I do stress maybe, 500 to maybe 3,000 XP per game. 500 is if you lose and you don't get a kill. I think they give you 500 XP just for doing it. But if you win, you're the top player, MVP, and you've got a new high score, you're going to be in the 3,000 XP range. It is very rare to see anybody get over 4,000 XP in Conflict. And with that being said, compare that to the one landmark I just showed you in the Dark Zone. So the best PvP player in Conflict gets all the kills in the game, finishes the game with maybe, let's just say the best score ever, 4,000. So 4,000 XP compared to 220 XP from a challenging landmark. So 4,000 compared to 220,000. You see the huge problem here. I have been playing Conflict non-stop since Redstorm left, because when Redstorm took out the normalization for Conflict, that's when I started playing Conflict, because myself, I hate normalization for PvP. I think that just destroys the player gap, and if I have a better build than you, I should have the advantage. It shouldn't be a level playing field in the Dark Zone. Not at all. Same with PvP, actually. There should not be. If you're not good at PvP and you want to jump in there with the all purple build and try to be the best in the world, it's not going to happen. And it's what makes PvP competitive and fun, is that it's all about the builds, it's all about the play style, and it's all about the team synergy. Now, with the whole normalization, it was very easy to just put a build together. I think it was Wids or somebody would put a build together and just jump into Conflict because it would normalize. And all of a sudden, he would kill everybody with non-optimized stuff. And he was proving that the whole normalization was just horrible, trash. So once they took that out, I started playing it a lot. Now, like I said, I'm max level on Conflict on all my characters. I am only 800 and what's that, 54? Yeah, I'm 854 watch level right now. I should be well into 2,000, maybe even 3,000 by now, by the amount of time I've put into Conflict this last year or so, I guess. Now, talking this way, Conflict has a huge problem there. Yes, it does have a dedicated fan base, and yes, there are hardcore PvP players that are in Conflict every single day. But the worth of doing it is not there. It's not worth it, to me at least. I wanted to max out all my characters just so I could do that like I did in Division 1. And since then, I've noticed that I've been playing handicap this entire time, because now my watch is not maxed out, which means certain attributes are not maxed out the way they should, and some of my numbers are not as high as some of my clan members, because instead of doing the Dark Zone, playing missions, stuff like that, and getting amazing XP for my watch, I've been playing Conflict, and yeah, they completely screwed that up. Now, what they need to do is incorporate some sort of equivalency between the Dark Zone and Conflict XP. So if you were to take all of the landmarks and do an XP count and then get the average of that landmark, I think that should be somewhat to the equivalency of gaining a level in the Dark Zone, or in Conflict. So if I were to gain a level, or let's see, so I'm level 100, but you can see where you can gain like field proficiencies. So right here you can see on the left hand side it says I am 455 out of, what is that, 10,000 for a level. They can easily make this XP match the Dark Zone. And with doing that, you would be able to actually level up your watch, because in the Dark Zone, once you level up a Dark Zone level, get a Dark Zone cache, 99.999% of the time you're leveling up your watch level with that. But that's not the case in Conflict. I could gain 100 levels in Conflict and not gain 1 level on my watch. So that's another thing that needs to be introduced, because as of right now I'm not playing Conflict anymore because I'm max on everything. It's not giving me anything, and the Conflict caches give you maybe 1 to 2 pieces of gear, where the Dark Zone and Dark Zone caches will give you 2 to 3 pieces of gear, and you get the Dark Zone caches a lot faster then you do the conflict caches. So my fix for conflict is for them to rework the XP system so that it properly levels up your watch with it. And then also you can easily incorporate last stand. Now, I know a lot of you probably are not even listening to this video or watching this video by now, but let's talk about my theory with last stand. I know Epic Slayers just mentioned my theory on his channel, even though he wouldn't say whose theory it was. He just took my idea and said some content creator. But here's my theory. So last stand in the Division 2, fairly simple. So right here, here's DZ East. What you can do is square off about a 4-block radius, maybe 5-block radius. You do that, just cut a square into the map. You could then copy and paste that square, that map, for conflict. And all of a sudden you've got a DZ East style map where all the Dark Zone players will be they will be well experienced with that, and they can go to conflict, play that, know the map, and take advantage of that. But also, so you can do that for all three of these. Just take like the inside square, maybe 4 or 5 block radius, and you can easily make a last stand match. You could even make 2 maps, do like a 4 or 5 block radius for last stand, and then do like a 2 to 3 block radius for just conflict in general. And all of a sudden you have 3 maps without developing any new content. Same with Dark Zone West. You can see right here. Just take a square out of the map, copy and paste. You would easily have enough room for a last stand map, and you can incorporate a smaller version into conflict. What this does, now hear me out, because people like Epic Slayer they weren't explaining it right. So what you do as a developer, you can easily take the coding or the environmental coding from each of these maps, copy and paste, and use that as a template. Start with that template. It is very easy to add 2 or 3 nodes to each of these maps, add a timer, add a scoreboard, and all of a sudden you have last stand. Not only that, but last stand, if you guys remembered, last stand had PvE in it as well. There were accommodations in the Division 1 called Blood Money, where you actually had to go and just kill NPCs while in last stand. So last stand could be promoted to both PvP and PvE people alike. So this would definitely help out the community as a whole. Using that, you would have 3 new maps that you could incorporate into conflict, which wouldn't cost you really much at all because you're not developing them from scratch. You're just taking environmental sections from each of the Dark Zones and incorporating it into conflict. And then the last thing is that Last Stand was a paid expansion in Division 1. Now, comment below if you would pay for Last Stand the way I was describing it. Obviously, for me personally, I would love to see like a Warlords of New York map. I would love to see a Coney Island map. I would love to see like a Camp White Oak when you're in the woods. That could easily be turned into a PvP area. Even places like Manning National Zoo. Those kind of close quarter would be perfect for skirmish. And it's just things like this to where it's very easy to develop content for PvP using just the resources they have. This won't break their bank. And if you guys know anything about Ubisoft Massive, they're all about making money. So this would probably be the best bang for their buck because over 90% of it they already have. It was very easy for them to incorporate Last Stand. So there you have it, guys. That's how Year 3 PvP should be and probably will be introduced into Year 3 for the Division 2. And it's pretty simple. Rework the Lady Death, rework either the armor or your amplified damage, because one of those needs to be fixed. Because I can run around with nearly 2 million armor and a Lady Death, and I'm still knocking people out left and right. It's really not fair, especially if I'm running armor regen. So do that. You can incorporate that exotic if you want more build diversity. I just put in that thought because that would not only help out PvP, but that would help out PvE. And I think that if they incorporated any and all of these changes that I've mentioned in the last 30 minutes or so, I guarantee their player base would skyrocket and it would build up all the hype for Division 3. Now, Division 3 is going to be a whole nother video, a whole nother discussion. But for right now, these are my thoughts on Year 3 PvP. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I am Kamikazevondoom. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoy these discussions, but a lot of this I will be doing in my podcast episodes with all these different content creators I have. So stay on the lookout for that. It is going to be called Game Chat with Kamikazevondoom. And every episode I'm going to have a different content creator, streamer, or developer within the gaming industry. And